Well, hello, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Interesting show tonight. I was not able to get Stefanos on. He's been so busy for the last 2 weeks. I was busy moose hunting, and so last week it just was too much going on. It was just would have been just too tough to make the show happen. I apologize, but what do we really miss? Price of gold and silver going through the roof. Amazing how much it's risen in the past week. And I've been talking to a lot of people, and they still think it's going to keep going up more and more and more. We also may have Kevin Johnston calling in tonight. I don't know what his. We haven't had Kevin. I don't think we've ever had Kevin on the show tonight on the lounge. Anyways, he's out and about, so he's going to be calling in, and hopefully it'll work. It'll be just like he was in jail again. Same kind of setup. News of the day. Let's start with this one here, if we could. I don't know if anyone heard about what's going on with Mark Carney. Nothing in the chat, so what's going on here? If you guys can hear me, put something in the chat. Hopefully you can. And my audio equipment says it's probably low. But anyways, hopefully you can hear me. Let me check the settings here. See if it's coming through or not. Audio, bear with me for a split second here. Yeah, I think we should be good. Anyways, yeah, Kevin might be calling in tonight. You can see his take on things, seeing as how he's been out of Canada for well over a year. Probably a year and a half. I'm going to share this screen here. You guys are going to love it. Well, no one's going to love this. I'm going to explain to you guys a little bit what's going on with this. Where's our share screen? Streamers, they keep changing things, bugging me. Why can't it just leave well enough alone? Let me see if I can make that a bit bigger so you guys can read this. Just so nobody has to question whether I'm making this stuff up or not. Why, oh, why can't I make this bigger? Zoom, here we go. All right, hopefully you guys can read this. Prime Minister Mark Carney announces new measures to combat crime, protect Canadians, and build safer communities. Yeah.
Oh, Kevin J. Johnston, Kevin J. Johnston, 4 others.
Kevin, how's it going?
Doing well. Are we live?
Yes, we are.
Wonderful. Hello, audience. Good to hear and see you all again. I wish I could be on screen, Ed, but I am nowhere near my studio.
Ready? Keep talking.
All right, keep talking. You obviously have a few things you'd like to cover, so I suspect you got a couple of questions for me, and I'll go ahead and wait for those questions. You know me, I can't wait to answer.
Well, first of all, thanks for coming on the show for the first time. Try not to get me thrown in jail.
I'll do my very best, but I can't promise. You know how crazy Mark Carney is. He's got Bill, C2, C8, and C9, plus the Online Harms Act all set to go, right? So I suspect they'll be coming to your door soon.
So you've been following a little bit of the Canadian news and announcements.
Well, 99% of my client base is Canadian, so I absolutely am following everything to do with Canadian politics. I can't make proper judgment calls on how to appease my tax clients if I don't know the entire political situation.
Brenda says, hello, Kevin. Hesham is on. He says you can hear us.
Wonderful.
And apparently you have been on the lounge before. One of the first episodes.
Yeah, probably. I can't remember. I talk to about 40 people a day now. It's unreal. I don't remember who I've spoken to. But since we've last spoken, my tax business has exploded and I've hired 9 full-time people. I got a 10th one I'm interviewing now.
Wow, good for you. It's about
That's
time
great.
things turned around for you. And you must be doing something of value if you got to hire all these people to help you out with your work. So it must be doing something positive.
Well, Ed, I mean, I think we've covered it before, but I'll cover it again for the audience right now. Is the Canada Revenue Agency, which was then known as Revenue Canada, raked my parents over the coals back in 1983, where they told my folks, you got to wrap up all your taxes, you got to come down here. If you don't come down and see us, you don't let us audit you, we'll take your kids away, we'll take your driver's license away, we're going to take your house. And of course, my parents, they were old school, and instead of getting angry and threatening back, they said, oh, don't do that. They wrapped everything up and went down to St. Catharines, Ontario, and allowed themselves to be locked up in a room, separated from each other for 2.5 days. And the audit did not end until my mother had a nervous breakdown because she was not a kind of person that could handle anything. Now, I don't talk ill of my mom because that's my mom. I'm going to tell you, they pissed me off back then. That's when I started studying tax law because I could not believe that it was legal for CRA representatives to lie like that, commit that level of fraud, and to think it was funny to do it.
Well, here's the
Well,
thing.
now-
Hang on.
Uh-huh.
Back in those days, we lived in a high trust society. Most people are honest, decent, forthright. They didn't
Yes.
try to scam you, especially if they worked for the government. They had a nice job. You couldn't get fired from it. Good money, excellent benefits, lots of time off, lots of sick days, strong union. And these bastards, they put onus on them because the guys that come out and do the audit, if they don't find something wrong, they got to go back in for retraining. So they always find something and they'll beg, borrow, steal, lie, which your parents obviously went through. And they thought, well, it's the government. They would never lie to us, would they?
Well, hey, you know, Ed, I'll tell you this. First off, my folks, they lost 1/3 of their wealth in that audit. They got a mortgage on their house to pay off a tax bill. Instead of deliberately disobeying and having their taxes redone and calling a lawyer, they just cried like a couple of bitches and did what they were told. Now, I can't accept that. My old man used to beat the hell out of me with a belt when I was a kid because I would never do anything I was told by my teachers or by society. I always saw that there was something wrong with the big picture. And the big picture was that everybody out there has power over you so long as you let them do it. That's the same idea as you got a bully. You got a bully who picks on you for years. But you take a brick and shatter every bone in his face, he's not your bully anymore. He's your bitch. I saw it that way, but I could not articulate those thoughts when I was 13. So I began studying tax law. And as my audience knows, I've also studied corporate and criminal law for years. Plus, I've been put through the rigor in the courts. I've learned everything about them. So with the Canada Revenue Agency, what I do now is I get people all their tax dollars back, anywhere between 3 and 10 years going backwards. And I structure their lives so they never pay tax again, legally. The CRA is terrified of me. They actually put a memo out to all 60,000 of their losers. They call them staff. I call them what they are, stating that no one is allowed to engage with me or talk to me. They also told me I can't represent my clients anymore. So they sent out letters to my clients saying that because I did the tax return, it's no longer valid. No problem. We've transferred all my clients over to another corporation. We got someone else doing all that tax work for them, equally as well as I do. But I also sued the CRA for $100 million. And because they don't like stuff from me, they have not even filed a defense yet. I don't know what they're thinking with that kind of a strategy, but $100 million with me explaining in my lawsuit every single crime that they commit. They have chosen to ignore this lawsuit. It's bizarre.
Nobody ever challenges the CRA.
No one does. And when I do, they don't know what to do. And that is why I have had such a really good time pissing them off and a really good time raking them over the coals. And if anybody's curious to know what these people say, I record all my calls and I put the funny ones up or the really educational ones up for the public to see, where I question auditors and I eventually get them to admit that they don't have any authority. Now, here's what they do. This is what one woman auditor admitted to me, is that she will go to someone's house or their office and she'll show them a plastic card saying that she works for the CRA and that she has the right to come in your house or your building and she has the right to look at all your tax files. That's what these cards say. But she doesn't show up with a warrant. She just shows up with a card. And so you can all listen to this video yourself. It is on my Rumble channel. So I asked her, do you tell people that they have the right to tell you to get lost? Do you tell people that they have the right to remain silent, not cooperate? Oh, no, we don't do that. Yeah, why? Why don't you do that? Oh, I don't know. They don't know. And I always ask every single auditor that I speak to, have you read the auditor's handbook? Oh, no, I'm not even sure what that is. So, well, good. I have. I've got a copy of it. And in chapter 10, it's 125 pages. More than half of those pages teach auditors how to lie. Literally, how to lie. In fact, I did a video back in March about it. You can see it for yourself, where I actually read verbatim their book. So that's what we've got here, people, is the auditors have courses on how to lie, just like the cops. Here's how you lie. Here's how you become a complete scumbag and lie to the public. It's frightening when you think about it, but the average person, as you said, is high trust. I don't know why people trust anyone anymore. But I also say that it's not just high trust. It's a matter of decadence screwed everybody up, man. Canada, from 1948 to about until now, until like 10 years ago, had it way too good. Nobody had to achieve anything and they could still eat and have a house. So everybody out there thought that that was going to last forever. It's a bad way to think. And Canadians began to think that a comfortable life was their birthright, not understanding that, no, Canada was decadent because of the hard work of hundreds of thousands of men before them. Nothing is free. So Canadians are stuck fearing everything because they've lived a wimpy lifestyle all these years and done nothing to defend themselves. So the CRA sends a letter out saying, give us money. Oh my God. And they write checks.
Well,
they write checks.
I got audited about 20 years ago, and the auditor came right to my house, and he asked me a few questions, took about 3-4 hours, and then he did find some slight error, and I had cut him a check for a couple grand, and that's the last I heard of him.
Right.
But
Okay,
that error that he found, though, I would highly debate that. But
sure,
he said if I don't find anything, I got to go in for retraining. So that's what's going on with that. That's why they have to find something. But the fact that they lie to get into your house,
yeah, they lie. And here's the other question I got for you. This guy comes in your house and spends 4 hours in your house. Did he pay you for your time?
No.
No. Did he offer to have the CRA compensate you for your time?
No.
No, he didn't. And while he's in your house, did you have something better to do?
Oh, yeah. Always.
Yeah. You could have been making money. So if you notice, we have a big enough client base that I'm charging $995 an hour now for my time.
Ouch.
And if someone wants that time, they're paying for it. I'm not doing anything for free except hanging out with you on this show. Yeah, that's a gimme. But I don't do anything for free. And anybody who expects me to give them their time is going to get a very callous no, with a few reasons why, and I'm hanging up the phone. We all need to treat life like it's a business because the world is in a weird place. We no longer have the freedom to work a 9-to-5 job and pay for a house and a car and a movie once a week and a restaurant twice a week. Those days are done, people, which means all of you have to demand compensation for your time. Now, before you start demanding compensation, you've got to have a viable skill that people want to pay for. And if you're going to perform that skill, never do it for free. Just like the Joker said, when you're good at something, never do it for free. Don't do it for free. So for all you out there who are spending time talking to the CRA, nobody's paying you for that time. It's the same idea whenever you're talking to cops. I always tell cops the same thing. Guys, no one's paying you for this time. The conversation's over. Go away. I don't feel like talking. I really don't. And I won't be talking to anybody who is demanding my time for free.
How old are
So
you, Kevin?
right there, 54.
So it's taken you 54 years to figure this out, eh?
Well, I wouldn't say 54 years to figure it out. What I'm going to say is I tried my very best to work within the culture of Canada, which is work hard, get a paycheck, and spend some time chatting with people on the weekends, have a wing night, and so on. Once I realized that culture is dead and is not coming back, and once I caught on to the fact that this war that the Canadian government has launched against the people is going to keep getting worse, I had to abandon any desire that I had to volunteer my time. And that's for anything. And it's to the point now where I don't have friends anymore because I really gave it a good think. The friends that I had in Ontario were constantly ringing my doorbell, looking for help with collection agencies, looking for help with contracts, looking for help with mistakes that they had made. I actually didn't have friends. I had a bunch of losers in my life that couldn't get their shit together and were constantly asking me to do things for them for free. Now, here's the sick part. I eventually one day snapped and I told everybody, nope, that's it, I'm done. I'm not doing any more of this nonsense for anybody. And as soon as that happened, these people stopped talking to me and they went and they hired lawyers. So that's how that works, man, is if you give your time away for free, you're not valued at all. So I don't have Canadian friends anymore. There's been a few so-called friends of mine who see that I am highly successful now. And what do they say? Hey, look, man, not for nothing. I know I'm good for it, right? Could I borrow $25,000? Hey, what? No, we can if you've got a house that I could put a lien on, but I'm going to be charging 8%. Can I have, not borrow, can I have $25,000? Hey, don't call me looking for free money. You can call me looking for a deal. If you've got crypto to sell or real gold and silver to sell, I will enter into a contract with you. But I'm not giving money away for free. Holy crap, Ed, I'm telling you, man, there's been over 40 people that I've known from the past who have called me, just give me money because I say so. Not for a good cause. They don't tell me what they're using the money for. They don't offer a partnership in a business. They just give me money. It's weird. It really is weird.
Brenda Willett says she's proud of you, Kevin.
Well, hey, I tell Brenda I got a big sloppy wet kiss for her. But mention to her I still got facial hair, so it might scratch.
I think she's listening. Anyways, have you been following the price of gold and silver lately?
I have. I've been following the price of everything. Look, I had a really good time a couple of days ago when Trump made the announcement that he would put 100% tariffs on China. I got into my crypto account. I called a buddy of mine up saying, are you watching what's going on here? He said, of course I am. So I looked at it. All the coins that I own, Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Solana, USDC. Oh, man, what else we got? We got Floki, Tron, Chainlink. I got all these coins. And all of them were losing money for 8 straight hours, just losing money. And I realized it was because Trump just shot his mouth off. No big deal. That's what Trump does. He's a marketeer. Then I had clients of mine calling me up in a panic, saying that they had to sell because they didn't want to lose too much money. And I'm telling everyone, well, just relax. This is just Trump being Trump. Everyone's going to forget what he said in 3 days to a week. But nope, they wanted to sell their crypto. They wanted me to buy it. I said, no problem, but I'm buying it at 25 cents less per coin, depending on what the coin is. If you're going to be selling me Bitcoin, I'm paying 10,000 less per coin. You know, I'm not just going to give it to you at fair value, because how the hell am I going to make money? And they were doing it. They were selling their crypto to me fast. And now, you'll love this one, Ed. Just like I told everyone to relax, I lost about $178,000 in what, 12 hours on my crypto. And it's almost all back now. Relax, everybody. Chill out. You got to understand how the markets work.
Okay.
So I'm getting back to your question now, with the volatility of crypto, that leads to the stability of gold and silver. What are my thoughts on gold and silver being high? If you can afford it, buy it, but just sit on it. And gold is not something that you people are going to buy and turn a quick profit on. Gold is wealth retention. That's it. It's wealth retention. If you buy 5K in gold today, it'll be worth maybe 7 in 8 years. The good news is you were able to hold and keep the money for the entire time, but it's not really going to be an investment, because the average person's too stupid to understand that you could take a gold coin for payment. They're dumb. So you're going to have to sell that gold to somebody who understands the market, which means if your gold goes up to 7 grand from 5, you're probably only going to get 6 for it, because the guy wants to make a profit, just like me with the crypto. I want to make a profit. The gold and silver is great. Buy it, hang on to it. It's the type of thing that your grandkids will benefit from, not you. And that's how I look at it. I'm building a family legacy by buying gold and silver and just sitting on it. Sitting on it.
So, guys, first of all, this is not personal monetary or investment advice. We're not investors, or I'm not a licensed brokerage or anything like that. So this is only for entertainment purposes. Have you heard? Okay, remember back in the 80s when silver went to $49 and change an ounce?
Yes.
That's US?
Yes.
If you look at inflation, that's $12 in today's money.
Sick, isn't it?
Isn't it? So for silver to go to those highs again, you'd be looking at, it's got to go up at least 4 times just to reach that high. Inflation adjusted.
Yeah.
Now the fact that the big banks in the States and the paper silver traders, they trade like 1 million ounces a day, and yet there's only 1 million ounces a year available or being mined or being put into production. But they trade these amounts almost every day. And I was trying to explain to people when we had the guy on from World Precious Metals about a month and a half ago. I was hoping to get him on tonight, because silver's starting to run, gold's starting to run. Silver right now is around $80 Canadian an ounce. 2 years ago, it was 40. Okay.
Well, actually, last year, it was 2 years ago, I was buying it at $22.
That would have been about 2.5 years ago, Kevin.
About that, yeah. I was still in
Canadian
Canada,
or US?
No, Canadian.
Yeah,
I was still in Canada 2.5 years ago when I was buying at that price.
Anyways, precious metals are climbing like crazy. That's true. Kim Lee says she buys Litecoin.
Yeah, so do I.
Trust me, my phone number has been blocked from being able to buy.
What does she mean by that?
I don't know. Maybe the exchange that she's on is doing something shady.
Okay. Oh, you know what? You know what it could be is that I had to sign some documents with Kraken, Binance, Crypto.com, and 2 other exchanges, stating that I'm not in one of the provinces in Canada where there's a $30,000 per year limit on what I can buy. I literally had to fill that out. So she could have accidentally filled out that she's in Ontario, for example, and get stuck by the exchanges at $30,000 of crypto a year. The Canadian government's trying to stop Canadians from buying crypto. If they're trying to stop that, then they know it has value. Obviously, look, BlackRock got involved with Bitcoin. Come on. If BlackRock is going to be involved with something, you should invest in what they're doing.
So Kim says she can't buy due to CRA.
Sorry, she can't buy what?
Due to CRA.
She can't buy what? CRA has nothing to do with the ability to buy crypto. What the hell are you talking about? You can buy crypto on any exchange you want. You just have to dump a ton of money into Google Play, get a crypto.com account, and buy crypto. What are you talking about? The CRA has no influence over that. The CRA doesn't even know what crypto is. That's how stupid they are. The only time the CRA knows you have crypto, if you're a friggin' moron, and put a crypto capital gain on line 12,700 on a tax return. And look, everyone, if any of you, and I'm going to be harsh now with my words, if any of you put down crypto earnings as a capital gain on your tax return, then you deserve whatever you get. Don't be stupid. Just because there's a question on the tax return doesn't mean you have to answer it. You have the constitutional right to remain silent. How many times has Stefanos told you all that? Shut up about what you have. So the CRA is not stopping you from buying crypto. You have stopped you from buying crypto because you haven't looked for an alternative path. Now, I can tell you one more thing about that, and I'm not insulting you, the human being, but I'm insulting the action. There is something out there called defeatism. And when someone says, no, you can't do something, you go home and you pout. I don't take no for an answer. So if some asshole loser says no, fine. Maybe his boss will say yes. Maybe his wife will say yes. Maybe his friends will say yes. Okay, fine. They all said no. Next. There's always a way to win. Always a way to win. I have taken more than $300 million away from the CRA with my tax strategies. And they've done nothing to me. Nothing except dodge my phone calls.
Yeah, but
that's all. They dodge my phone calls.
Did you see the I sent you a link a couple weeks ago about proposed new laws coming into effect?
Yes.
I think that was written just for you.
Probably, but those aren't laws. What that is, that's the government just telling the CRA to go ahead and implement policy. But CRA policy is not law. You can ignore it. You tell them no. The answer is no. Hey, look, let me tell you the truth here, okay? I buy corporations. If your corporation is struggling, you have all kinds of debt, I buy the corporation and all your debts and all your liabilities become mine. You get to start over at zero. And once in a while, not once, actually quite commonly, the Ontario Labor Board already had a file open on the corporation when I bought it, where someone registered a complaint against that corporation. So the Labor Board, what they'll do, they're just like the CRA, they're an institution, but they're not judiciaries, they're not anything. They can make any judgments they want, doesn't matter. So they would call me saying that John Smith of XYZ Corporation has an open claim and we need you to send paperwork. And I'll tell them, no problem. You got to just send me over 10 grand. That's our minimum charge to cooperate with the government agency. They come back saying, no, we don't do that. We don't have to. We're the government. That's what I say. Well, lick this, suck that, eat your meals free out of my toilet. I insult them heavily. They tell me that I'm not allowed to speak to government employees that way. I tell them I am. This stupid nonsense will go back and forth for a while. I have them so distracted with my bad language and my racist connotations and my own threats that they always just quit. In fact, let me now be a little bit racist here when I say this. I wrote a policy. So KevinJJohnston.com has a policy now that Packies who work for the government are not allowed to call my company for any reason. You tell them that. Packies are not allowed to call here. You have a white man born in Canada who speaks English and doesn't wear a dress, call me. Beyond that, do not call here. When they call back, I call the cops, file police reports. So there you go, folks. You heard it first. Yes, it is true. KevinJJohnston.com, which is a corporation that I do run, has a policy that Packies who work for the government are not allowed to call me, the company, my team, my staff, or otherwise. I don't want to listen to that stupid accent. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. I'm tired. I'm burned out. I was forced, not at knife point, but at leather belt point, to learn English, to properly use grammar in every single sentence that I would utter. I would get slapped in the head if I misspoke, if I spoke out of turn, if I used the wrong connotations. If I would say something like, me and John did this, I would have to say, that was John and I who performed the act. I used to get beaten for not using the King's English. And you're going to tell me that after all that learning that I did and all that hard work I've done to be a linguistic expert, that I now have to listen to some scumbag from a third world piece of crap country call me and tell me that I have to do something? Are you out of your mind? I've been to those countries. I can tell you their genetic codes are broken. Inferior genetic codes will not ever talk to me in that fashion. No one is telling me what to do. So you can take your equality and your equity of opportunity and your equity of outcome nonsense and tell me that multiculturalism is a good thing. I'm going to tell you that it's not. And I will dictate the terms of everybody and anyone who gets to talk to me or gets to talk to my company. Yeah, I'm going to do it based on not just race, but on culture. I cannot stand Indian culture. I guess fortunately for Indian people that I judge everybody based on their individual merit. And I do like Indian food, so I'm not going to stop spending money there. But you're not calling me in my office and telling me what to do. And when I start telling the Pakis who work for these places that exact thing, they always just drop the file. They consider me too rude and too hostile to deal with. You know what? They're right. They're right. If you work for the Canadian government, just work under the assumption that I hate you. And I will do anything I can to harm you. And I will do whatever I can to make you miserable.
So
You should not call someone who hates you. Go ahead.
have you heard about the government buildings being burnt down in the Far East?
Well, yes. I haven't been following China for the last couple of weeks. I mean, I had a good laugh about the bridges in that city, that country that keep collapsing. But yes, I am aware of the fact that the people have had enough and they're starting to torch everything. This is good, by the way. That's very, very good. Because after Vietnam pulled the stunt that they did, where they locked 86 million bank accounts down because people don't have digital ID. They should all be lit on fire for that. Every single one of them. Those people work hard, man. Vietnamese people, they work hard. They have very little at the end of the day by the time they're making their 12, 13 bucks US a day. And the government just shuts down their bank accounts? Absolutely burn them down. Burn them down. Burn them to the ground. Turn them into ash.
Yeah, so apparently Gen Xers have been standing up to a lot of governments around the world. In Italy, they had a strike. The people were fed up, and they didn't go to work. They didn't pay their taxes. They just sat at home. So screw you guys. That's how you tell the government to go to hell.
Yeah. And hey, I live in Panama, as everybody knows. And when the people here are pissed off, they shut down the entire country. Highways are shut down. Stores shut down. The water gets turned off. The government has nothing it can do. That's how you do it. That's how you do it.
So it looks like
Government is corrupt.
So what I predict is because in 2019 there was protests all over the world. 2018, 2019, yellow vests. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
That was spreading all over the world. People were pissed off. That's why they had to put the pandemic into play, lock us down, and too many idiots didn't do their homework. I was one of them too. I stayed at home for the first couple of weeks, but I got on the internet, started digging around because I knew something just didn't smell right. Never trust the government. They're nothing but a legal mafia as far as I'm concerned. What's the difference? Tell me.
No, there is no difference except for one. Except for one. That the people who work for the mafia know what they're doing. The people who work for the government have no idea what they're doing. And you know what? That's actually good for us. Again, look what I'm doing. Look at the damage I've done to the CRA. You know what I have on my desk? Let me tell you what I have on my desk. First off, I have the desk itself. The desk is 8 feet wide by 4 foot depth, and it's on a hydraulic switch. So it's got 12 different height settings I can set it to. That desk cost me $1,500. I have a laptop on there that I bought during the 2018 mayor run that I was involved in Mississauga. Still running. So the retail value on that laptop today might be $100. I have a $10 mouse to go with it. I have a microphone I bought 20 years ago. It's still running fine. I've got a $20 USB cable that hooks it up to my laptop. I bought a second laptop for $900. It's a gaming laptop as well. It's one of those Hewlett-Packard, the new ones. Things are cheaper here in Panama. And I bought a curved monitor that I have my crypto and Forex information up all day. Now, that monitor was expensive. That was $2,200.
You know,
But everything, everything including my desk and everything on it, including this 8-year-old cell phone I'm talking to you on, has a retail price right now of less than $5,000. And look at the damage one man can do. Imagine what you could all do if you stop being cowards, you got off your asses, and started actually going on the attack. I haven't had to fire a single bullet. It's all been done with the equipment I just listed. That's it. Oh, and one more thing. And a $15 per month internet connection. Wow. If I can do it, you can do it.
Hesham says, unlike Panama, Canada would declare martial law or use the Emergencies Act if people were to protest like the Panamanians.
Yeah, well, this is where Canadians will have to start growing some balls. And Canadians will have to show up armed. So the next time that there's going to be an Ottawa event, like the truckers convoy, you got to be armed. The cops are the enemy. Police in Canada are absolutely worthless individuals. Worthless. They serve no purpose except to steal from us, to hurt us. We got to shut the courts down. And I know how to do that too, by the way, everybody. We got to shut the courts down. We got to shut the police departments down. We have to completely defund it all. And if they want to continue their attacks on us, we talked about this once before. Put big chains around all the power towers that supply power into the towns, get bulldozers and pull those things to the ground. Pull them down. Shut the power off. Even the government works on electricity, folks. It'll hurt you, but it will hurt them more because they won't have their tools of the trade to harm us. They just won't. Now, I can't say that I'm advocating for you to do it, but I'm saying that's the only way to win. Canada is so far gone that revolution is the only solution. There's that idiot on Instagram. He calls himself Mario for the North. He's paid by the PC party. He showed up 2 years ago on social media. He's paid by the PC party to make the PC party look good. I don't care that he's paid to do it, but he's another one of these people that comes out and he complains about the government and then turns around in one breath and tells all of you, you have to pay your taxes. So you got to watch out for who you're listening to, man. Even him. He shows himself at a gun range saying that he's ready for whatever happens. Yeah, bullshit. He's ready for nothing. I'm at the gun range every 3 days down here. I always buy a bucket of 500 bullets and I don't leave until I've shot them all.
What are you shooting?
Oh God, man, what am I not shooting? Desert Eagle. I've got 245 long slides. We got a lovely Sposs pistol grip shotgun. And then whenever I go to the gun club, I always ask to fire a couple of different weapons. They've got MP5s here, full automatic. Heckler & Koch, MP5, full auto. And not only that, but the guy that owns the gun club I go to is a gunsmith. So he's made a magazine that's exceptionally long. It holds 100 rounds for the MP5. So I'm having a good time here, man. Panama rocks. But I wanted to bring up with that Mario of the North guy. He's a prime example of how all the Canadian podcasters behave. They don't work together. He's got an audience. He doesn't work with any other podcasters. Jeremy McKenzie has a big audience. He doesn't work with podcasters. Dan Dix out in Vancouver does not work with any of the podcasters. Yeah. The so-called famous people in Canada don't work together. And I do kind of miss the whole bonding that I had with some of the podcasters during that fake COVID nonsense. That was great because guys like Archer Pavlovsky, Pat King, Chris Sky, myself, we'd all be in the same room together explain to the people the reality of life. That doesn't happen anymore. Even Chris Sky got fed up with everyone. He went down to Colombia for a bit. Good for him. So Canadians have no idea how to work together. And the point I wanted to make with this Mario guy is he took one of my videos and stated that I was wrong and that I was going to get people put in a prison for not reporting capital gains on houses, to which there is no law that says you must. That's when he got my attention. So I have a full-time private investigator working for me now. I called him up, said, yeah, do me a favor, find this guy. And within 3 hours, we had his home address in Waterdown. I'm not going to give it to you now, but I sent him off a cease and desist letter. I told him, you can call me asshole and effer and this and that. Call me any of that stuff. But don't tell me that I'm going to get people put in prison because I don't know what I'm talking about in taxes. There's nobody that knows more about taxes than me. But you figure this guy would make a phone call to me or send me an email or try to communicate with before he went on this tirade about me being wrong. Again, he's entitled to his opinion, but he's not entitled to defame. Canadians do not work together. There should be big harangues, big culminations. Hold on. Every time I get the phone, some asshole takes the muffler off and drives right past me. But guys like you and Jeremy McKenzie should be on the same screen at the same time discussing these things. But they won't. Dan Dick should be on your show and vice versa. It's not going to happen. Not because of you, but because of them. It's a really big problem that we have in Canada is that nobody wants to work together. Everyone's got egos, and these egos clash in absolutely ridiculous ways all the time.
Well, they say that there's power in numbers, and people say, oh, they're stealing our ideas. If the idea is good, what does it matter who steals it? You want your idea to spread, right?
Yeah, you do. Yes, you absolutely do. It's, I think the way some of these guys have it wrapped up in their heads is that they know that the Canadian audience is a limited one. It's small. It's not the American audience. So in the United States, you could pick your nose on camera and have 1 million people watching. There's just that many more people to come across you, even if it's accidental. But I guess the fear is that if Jeremy was to come on my show or vice versa, that I would steal his audience. He and I have extremely, and I mean extremely different audiences. There's no way that his audience is going to become instantly fans of me instantaneously and abandon him. That's not how it works.
Well, we actually had Jeremy on our show. Actually, it was your show at the time because you weren't allowed to come to Ottawa during the trucker convoy. We had him on for a couple hours. Good, excellent. I've only had one conversation with him. And the conversation was me saying, hey, Mr. McKenzie, pleasure to meet you. And his reaction to that was, hey, that's it. Well, maybe he didn't know enough about you, but you know, the other thing is people spread false rumors, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, everyone's got their different ideas, but we got to get together on the same page. I don't agree with everything he says, but I do 98% of the stuff that he says. I do agree with it.
And there's no reason for you and he to not work together. There's no reason for him and Dan Dix not to work together. You know, he's on the East Coast, Dan's on the West Coast.
Well, hang on. Dan Dick's wife is a satanic communist. She's inked all over her body, apparently.
Oh.
Did you know that?
I don't know his wife. No, I've never met his wife. I've only met him. I'm just talking about the fact that he's got an audience. And I'm only using it as an example in that Canadians have audiences and don't do anything with it. I've even contacted every podcaster in Canada who's got a large audience to buy advertising space. And I get stupid answers like, no, I'm not in this for the money. I'm in it for the people. Like, oh, you got to eat, dude. You got to eat. If you're going to build an audience of 500,000 people, you should be making money on that.
Yeah. Hey, what's your take on the ostriches? Have you been following that at all?
Well, Stefanos was the only one that had a contrary opinion, where he was discussing the fact that they were a bioweapon, that those ostriches were being laced with a whole bunch of diseases and see what would happen with the eggs. I don't know. I don't know anything about that. If Stefanos is correct, then sure, destroy the birds. If Stefanos is not correct and they were just a meat farm, then why the hell are we destroying birds?
Yeah. Well, here's what
But
bugged me about this thing. First time I caught a whiff of it, and it's like, something just ain't right with this. And what bugged me about it is suddenly they've got antibodies for COVID-19. COVID-19 has never been isolated in a human, ever.
Correct.
So what the fuck are they doing now? What kind of antibodies are these? Is this something that's been engineered in a biolab somewhere? That's what got my spidey senses going. This does not smell right. And then you got a bunch of free dumb people saying, oh, we can't allow the ostriches to get culled. Guys, they're a fucking science experiment. 69 of them died. And it was the guy with the excavator or the bobcat or whatever that they hired to bury these birds on the farm about a year and a half ago, roughly. When he was hired, he says, what the fuck am I doing here, burying all these birds? What's going on here? He's the guy that reported to the CFIA. Other than that, CFIA had no idea this was going on. So he got suspicious.
Yeah.
And the story's been changed so many times. And then you look in all the money they're getting for the eggs. And do they really have these antibodies? I don't know. I'm still out on this. Something still doesn't smell right. There's so much misinformation. The story changes every day or every week. You look at the court documents, say one thing, then the people are saying, no, it's something else. Now, the CFIA, they've been overstepping their bounds? Absolutely. So there's misinformation on all sides. And the grift is incredible.
It is.
The money these guys are getting, it's crazy. And yet we can't raise enough money for the Adam Skelly case. People have forgotten about COVID already. And these people are busting their balls off trying to get the legal fees paid for that case. And it's not for Adam Skelly. He lost his criminal court because he decided to go free man on the land kind of thing. And I wonder what they said to Adam Skelly, because I've never been able to speak to him for the last 2 years. So somebody told him some bad information about me and you, and he believed it, obviously. And then he got screwed when he went to court. Well, another thing, Arthur Pawlowski. Why would Arthur take legal defense from Ezra? With those shitty, cheap lawyers that Ezra uses. You know who I'm talking about, right?
I do.
Set the precedent, then that precedent is used against Pat King, makes Pat King's life worse. And now apparently they're even going after Pat King because they're going to appeal the sentence and they want to retry the guy. Why?
Wow.
Because they want to make precedent. They've given up going after Jeremy McKenzie because he was able to raise enough money to get really good lawyers to defend them. And we're talking like $100,000 plus per case. He got off of everything, all 4 charges. Got off them all. So they're not even coming after him. Now he's going on the offensive.
Well, with the way the country is, Ed, and with the sheer volume of time I've had to spend behind bars, and the sheer waste of money and time, all that is, I've drawn the conclusion, because there is no political solution to the country, that the only winning move is not to play.
Well,
and I had to get away from the anger in that country. Everyone's angry all the time. Everyone thinks they're a genius in Canada. Everyone thinks they're right all the time. You've got the BLM nonsense. You've got the terror group known as Antifa. You've got all kinds of left-wing nuts. You've got radical feminists everywhere. You've got everybody telling everybody else how to live all the time. And I realized that my talent was being wasted because I was being drowned out by all that noise. I leave Canada, what happens? I become a millionaire. That's just how it is. Because my mind is empty of that nonsense. I follow it so that I can always have the strategy ready to go. But I no longer, and I would highly recommend, if anyone out there has the ability to leave and live a good life, Do it. What are you waiting for?
I don't know. People have been brainwashed by the TVs. I look at my neighbors. TV's going on all night, thinking, oh, more brainwashing going on. And these are people that voted for Mark Carney. They had the liberal signs on the front lawn. I don't hold it against them. I know that they're brainwashed, and why should I even bother talking to them? That's why I'm thinking, do I wait here and fight the fight that's coming, or do I get the hell out of here? Because what am I going to do? Protect a bunch of, 75% of the country believes what they hear on the TV and radio and read in the papers when it's all propaganda, and they fucking believe the fucking lies. Do we really have to defend these people? I was actually hoping the COVID jabs would be more effective and we would have lost all these idiots that took the damn jabs. But they're still here. They're still voting for Carney.
Yep.
Anyways, I'm going to leave it with that, Kevin. I don't want to take up too much of your time. What's the weather like where you are?
Right now, I've got 77 degrees. I just decided to stop in for a quick drink. I'm in the middle of my daily 15K walk. I bought a 50-pound vest. I put that on, and I'll do a 15K walk, and I'm usually quite ready for bed when I get back.
Oh, Jesus. Bubba doesn't even get that much exercise.
Well, it's a really good time for me to return phone calls, too. I mean, look, I return calls. I'm talking to people about 14 hours a day quite easily. And I find that the best time for me to get phone calls answered is just to go on a power walk where there's no distractions back at the office. And I love it. I do. Everyone should be happy to know this. Since I've been to Panama and I'm eating better food and drinking better beverages and whatnot, I've had no inflammation in any of these spots where I've broken my bones. I've had 33 broken bones. 33 broken bones, yeah. 12 major dislocations. None of that stuff gets inflamed anymore. I'm in the gym. The gyms here in Panama are more sophisticated than Canada. And I have maxed out. There are 7 different machines. I'm now maxing them out. So I'm strong as hell, folks. And I'm healthy as hell. And I'm happy as hell.
Good for you, Kevin. Anyways, on that note, okay, quickly, guys in the chat, any questions for Kevin? Put them in the chat. I'll ask them. And while we're waiting for the questions to pop in, your tax and money show, what nights is that and where can people find you?
Every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on freedomreport.ca. I do a tax lecture for the first half of the show, which is an hour. And I do nothing but answer tax, crypto, and finance questions for the last half.
And if people want to get a hold of you personally?
All through the website now, folks. I am out of time to take phone calls. What we got to do is get you to go through my website. You're going to talk to one of my crew. As I said, I've got a lot of full-timers now. I'm just about to hire my 10th full-time person. Send an email through my website, which is kevinjjohnston.com. Get the appropriate question asked. Be not thorough enough where you're writing a whole page worth of info, but give me 5 or 6 points about your tax problem, and we are going to get back to you and solve your tax problems.
Okay, so if people go to Freedom Report without a space.ca, can they get the link to that Kevin J. Johnston website?
I don't know, because I don't even upload to my own channels anymore. I've got people doing that for me. I spend my time reading case law, strategizing, and consulting with clients. I actually don't do graphic design anymore, and I don't do video editing anymore. I'm out. I don't have time for that stuff, and I don't enjoy that stuff like I used to. I enjoy talking to people, and I enjoy winning against the government.
So Frank, a friend of mine, Frank, is saying, Kevin, hey, do you charge Ed's good buddies $1,000 an hour?
For Ed's Good Buddies, we'll give you a $5 discount.
Okay, there you go, guys.
There's no discounts, people. Come on. Look, if you wanted discounts, what you had to do was hit me up 2 years ago when I started this business. I was only charging $150 back then. And Ed, I was literally doing 80 consultations a week. It was absolutely insane. I had no time for anything. So I had to reduce the number of consultations We're doing 16 a week, and I'm experimenting in November. We're doing half-hour consults for $650, and I'm still doing 16 a week. It's a lot, but it's worth it. I'm not complaining. I like working hard. You know that.
Yeah. All right, guys. If you had any value, seen any value in the show, share it out. We're getting heavily shadow banned, but it is what it is. And if you find any value in this, share the link out, and we'll see you guys next Thursday. Kim says,
Yeah,
thanks
that's not
for
a
your
request,
service,
everybody.
Kevin.
Thank you.
I'm glad to get
Yeah,
my
by the way,
free
that's
info
not a
from
request.
Stefanos.
Look, folks, it's not a request. It's a command. Share the show. Ed and Stefanos took the mantle up when I had to walk away from politics because it was clouding my head. They're doing a great service for everybody out there. They're not getting paid for it. Please, the least you can do is share it out to everyone that you know. Email it out. Hit the likes button. Send it out to your friends on social media. Send everything out. All of it. Thanks.
Hesham says, great to hear from you, Kevin. Brenda Bailey says, great show. Thanks, guys. All right, I'm going to end it on that. Have a great night, Justin says. Guys, see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Take care, folks.
Later.
Okay, take care.